pull like Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao B1, yeah.
Yeah, and Xin Zhao answers are kind of getting pinched a little bit.
Does Velia play Jax jungle?
That kind of fell off a little bit. I think Jax in general is just not great of a champion right now, so...
Bounce would disagree with you.
Actually, true. They could flex it. You know what? Maybe I'm on board. They could flex the Jax jungle into that, but I don't think that's what's going to come out.
Jax was one of the supports you're talking about where there's an issue right now with support pool for engage. Like Rel here on R1 or 2, right?
I look at Rel, I look at Rakan. Reckless is synonymous with Rakan, honestly, really at the moment. Going to pick away the Ahri. Did get nerfed, a little bit of a tap. I'm also looking at other notable top mid laners that are available in the Twisted Fate as well.
Yep. Are we going to lease in here with Ahri? Wouldn't it be nice to have like setup, like guaranteed lockdown?
I mean, this is set up.
Oh, yeah.
Charm is set up into the queue. That is a decent combo.
Yeah,
This
you're
is
right.
a good combination that you can have.
Used to be really good. Yeah.
Other champions that are open for mid lane are the Annie, the Orianna, the Twisted Fate. I keep bringing up and going back to because it did get buffed and it has seen a lot more priority. If they want to match mid laners here, which would make sense, as pools could get pinched quite a bit in second rotation.
Silas as well into Ahri.
Silas is fantastic.
Yeah.
I like that call out. I think Silas is really, really good. And it's just a better Ahri if it gets to mid game or if he ever gets a lead.
Plus into Lee Sin as well. I've seen some funky stuff.
Oh, is it Kai'Sa Nico?
Also being built up.
Might be Kai'Sa Nico. I think that could also be a good combination.
Yeah.
DOS is a great Nico. Well, honestly, he had a game where he went 0-5-0, but then he popped off in the next one, so it's hard to say.
Well, at least I like the flip. That's what Nico is a lot of the time. Niski at least showed us that. Sorry, not Niski. No, it was Niski. It absolutely was. Okay, listen. What do we get here? Support match? Do you want the Rel still?
I think the takeaway could be good, and then you play lane swaps away. But also, you alternatively have, if you don't pick up support here, other champions that are good into Nico support are shielders or healers. Stuff like Milio, Nami, Lucian, Nami lanes could be good into it if you want to pick that up.
And they play Crown and Reckless. Absolutely play that.
Yeah, that's a go-to answer, for example, in the LPL to sustain, and probably other leagues as well. Karma Ezreal is gone, actually. Right, my bad. So it's probably going to be like a Lucian lane they're going to eye up. I imagine BKR are going to want to pinch that.
Okay, so now with the Gragas locked in as well, which is
the GOAT Classic.
One of his best champs alongside that Zion. Support's starting to get a B band away. Aatrox's already taken through as Lost Return is just getting rid of options that are going to make Bowser's life a living hell. I will say, it was the last series, the Yorick game with Bowser's Gragas. Yorick becomes insanely good into Gragas. I mean, I feel like the matchup's almost unplayable for Gragas, right?
Aatrox is fantastic into Gragas. Yorick is fantastic into Gragas. I was going to say Gnar would be a ban that you'd probably let go through. The problem is Shigenda plays Gnar. Right? So now Shigenda can go towards the Yorick if he does play it into the Gragas as an option. And I think this champion is just demonic. It's really, really good into the Gragas. Get absolutely beat up early.
It got changed in this patch, but it's like...
It did get nerfed slightly,
It got nerfed for like levels 9, 10 when you get first item, but is it really much? As scaling element for Crowny instead of something like the Lucian Nami.
They have pulled out the severe Milio, right? So we go back to those supports with like the Nami Milio.
Lulu's also up and available, by the way.
So Lulu as well, sure, but I think the lane is a bit worse. I think Milio would be a potential answer, but we'll have to see. There's no engage supports left. You really want Lee Sin with some kind of hard CC engage support, and there really aren't any left unless I'm missing one. I think Alistair? Is Alistair up?
No.
No, it's not.
Alistair's gone, Nautilus is gone, Leona's gone.
They're all kind of gone.
What do you think about Maokai? It's not really hard engage.
No. You just don't really have a great pairing with your Lee Sin, so you're going to have to sacrifice composition a bit, as is the way with Fearless.
What do you think about Elise support here? Oh, Mel picked up.
Mel. Into the Ahri. You outrange it. It's, you can reflect the charm. It's set up for your mid laner as well because of that, so... with the snare, sounds pretty good as a pickup. I mean, Omon has pulled it out once in this tournament, I think. And it looks like the Ambessa into the Gragas as well. Not going to go towards the Yorick. Maybe Shigenda doesn't play it. Maybe he values the nerfs too highly to pull it out.
So, last option, 5 seconds.
Karma, another shielder.
There you go. You wanted an enchanter, you got one, and you get more lane dominance with this as well.
Yeah, you do. So, it was like Milio or Karma potentially. I think Karma with the shielding and, like you said, the laning is a lot better. And it gives them a bit more team fighting.
This defending champion, all it takes is one more game in the series, and they will return to their rightful place into the grand finals to defend their title at EMEA Masters Spring.
And I think the big thing is that BKR, when they lose, they look really bad. But when they win, they look really good. They're the epitome of a coin flip team, in my opinion, in terms of execution from start to finish. And I think this draft, it's really setting them up to do it. They have a lot of agency in dives. Look at this, level 1 Bushi.
It's tagged a little bit. Crowny.
Charm Flash coming out.
Maybe Sonic Wave, and there it is. Bushi thinking about, do I really flash here? No, Crowny gets first blood. A brilliant way for the Brits to start.
A nice little hug of the wall into empowered Q, and then a charm flash from Nemesis to secure a kill. Now, he doesn't have flash, and he might be susceptible to a potential route from Oman into a Xin Zhao gank. That is a possibility, or maybe even a Nico play level, like in the wave.
Oh,
but here it is. I mean, Bushi has to know. Oh, he doesn't have vision. That's the problem there. He doesn't see it coming. The flash out of the bush into the E flash.
Yeah.
Into the charm. And there it is. A nice little play onto Bushi.
I'm just scared about where he walks into mid lane right now. I guess just wondering if anyone else was hovering, but of course, no. It starts with top side here. Velya is going to be clearing out his red.
Yeah.
And single target camps as usual.
That alleviates the bot lane a little bit really nicely. I mean, it's really important that Karmas in general get a nice lead out of early game.
Yep.
Because the champion doesn't scale as well as some other things, some other enchanters. And also, getting that kill early, you know, can accelerate her to decent items. Now, I will say that Nico champ has been nerfed. The base damages have been gutted on the current patch. I believe a 15.12.
Yeah, we are.
So maybe the harass isn't as painful as before where we'd auto-win lane. If I'm BKR, the biggest question that I have is, how do I attack this Nemesis lack of flash?
Yep.
And I'm trying to think of the ways that you can be creative early. Shigenda's irrelevant here on the Ambessa, who's just scaling. It literally is just Nico camouflaging to a minion and looking mid, or Xin Zhao ganks.
Yep.
That is the potential right here.
But I mean, Oman's trades there with the Radiant Volley, right? They're quite volatile early. And if Nemesis gets low enough, all it takes is like a W flash. Or it takes an E from Rylak you're talking about, excuse me.
Yeah.
And the deed's done. So it's a good mention here before Nemesis gets level 6. That's a good lane to punish. But Crowny, even though he wasn't able to go back and spend his gold, already the 2v2, thanks to Reckless on this Karma, is just a bit of a nightmare for Bushi and DOS.
It's a lot of damage. Karma getting the ult early on. I mean, I'm specifically watching for the Nico damage, and it's just so much lower. I watched a Q land there, and it just was so unimpactful. In the past, I would see people go sudden impact with Nico, press W, and then drop a sudden impact Q with Scort, and it would just do their entire health bar. But I just saw it land, and it just did absolutely nothing. So we'll keep tracking it.
Well, with E, it's hard to, to watch because
he just did 80 damage or so.
He took no damage.
Yeah.
And the W trading, you gotta forget the shape splitter change as well.
Yeah, also nerfed.
The auto attacks is 10 damage off,
and
like every
20
level.
less on the base damage on the Q.
Yeah.
The big part about Nico Kai'Sa, one of the biggest things, is that the Nico gets the Kai'Sa through lane to get Kai'Sa to scale at 20 minutes and pop off. If that's not happening, then the value of the pairing goes down, right? Like looking mid.
As you said,
good 2v2.
It's an option, but look, Velya's coverage is perfect. Level 4 versus level 4, the least it needs a bit of auto. It's going to get some lifesteal back. Half HP is the trade, a safeguard away. Meanwhile, Oman is just disengaging. Landing that W, win becomes lightning, and Rylak gets the kill. Really nice kill to match the flash.
Yeah, it's hard for Nemesis to join up with his jungler there. Velya going to be left to dry because Nemesis doesn't want to enter river in a potential, flashless situation. His Q gets bounced back by the reflect from the Mel, and then he also takes a chunk. So Nemesis, he just really is disincentivized and wants to stay in mid. Velya gets caught, that's first blood, or rather second blood.
And Rylak in all 3 games, if we're talking about people that have stood out, he has been someone who's found a bit of a lead early.
Yeah.
It's been unfortunate they haven't been able to translate it, but this jungler has definitely been the leading force of the LFL first seed. And in this game, Xin Zhao as well, one of the greatest duelists in the early game. Real way to ramp up game 3 and get themselves on the board nice and early. 30 seconds till Dragon.
Yeah, really big. Going to accelerate him towards that Titanic Hydra. The Tiamat's going to help his clear and then speed him up even further.
Yep.
And then he's going to have so much playmaking with this Titanic as well. We'll see how LR address the Dragon situation early on. They do have a decent amount of playmaking, especially post-6. With that Ahri ulti, with the mobility between Ahri and Lee Sin, it's a goated combo. You can make picks onto mobile targets really well on the side lane as well. And that's where I'm really looking at how well do Nemesis and Velya play the side lane. Nice little body bop.
I was going to say make a trade from Shigenda, but
yeah, evens it out.
It's just Gragas, and also Gragas has passive healing, so again, he can just do stuff like that, get a bit of healing himself. Shigenda tries to stomp forward, but he now has nothing. Bounce, if he can heal up and sustain body slam, barrel roll, the flash stone. Shigenda gets himself a grasp kill.
Flash to finish off the kill there. Baus's wave state is not good as well. It's pushing into Shigenda. Shigenda can hold this and then potentially even walk back to lane because Ambessa doesn't have amazing wave clear early on. And just maintain that. Looks like he's going to do exactly that. Drop a reset, come back to lane, and have a much better condition. I imagine he'll pick up a pickaxe on the way back to lane as well, and that's a lot of AD for Baus to deal with.
Look at Baus, by the way. Lost chapter, that's it, but a CS disadvantage right now, holding at 15 as we talk about Dragon, because Lost RATONES other side of the map. Bit of a classic there. Something goes wrong on top, but they've already done their due diligence to set up bot.
Yeah, already. The prio continuously from the Karma. Severe is converting. into this dragon. Nemesis is really online here. Charm into E into at least in Q. There's a lot of potential for plays.
This is going to be a fight with Tiamat in hand as well. Look at Omon, but it's a turn. Immediately, Nemesis pops the ulti. Double knock-up sent away as it's the first kill going over to LR. The jungler's down as Omon is isolated from the team, but he will get an execute. At least trying something here is a reset given over to Nemesis to get the charm. Bounces back, and it sets up for the solar flare, but a flash away is good from Nemesis. Omon, though, still at half HP with a blue buff, a red buff, and an auto attack. They want the dragon. They want it so badly, but they're zoned off. Charm does connect, though. Omon walked into it. Crowny up next. DOS gets the isolated damage, and you can see that the dragon's helping out, but DOS tries to play it slow. Reckless Law on mana as well. At 400, this dragon goes from sketchy to dead. LR, I don't know how they walked away with that one, but they walk away.
And how is the end of the fight? DOS versus Reckless Nemesis. What a banger of a team fight here. I mean, just take a look at it. I didn't think it was so good because Nemesis ends up ulting and full comboing, trying to finish off DOS here on the right. But Rylek gets focused down. You have Velia in the middle, one-shotting the Xin Zhao, and Omon is stuck on the left, desperately trying to get the execute onto Velia. Manages to secure the Feet of Warfare in the meantime, and then it's just this standoff right here. The charm gets reflected, and here I was clenching. Right? I was clenching.
Okay.
Nemesis gets chunked and has to flash away, and then I think here was the charm. Nemesis once again landing the game-winning CC.
And we're fighting again, and look, Nemesis does it again. Omon had a really good start of the fight, but now he's just died twice in succession as well. Double body slam with a sonic wave. Resonating strike will not follow. Velia does not have his ulti either, but it's happening again. Aragon is just escalating, getting faster, and LR, they're now with a gold lead in game 3.
How did Omon end up there as a flashless? Okay, so he's trying to follow up on Rylek here, but he gets collapsed on. Nice flank from Baus. I don't know how Baus ended up there.
How did he get here?
From behind. I guess he pushed in top or came out of base and then ended up behind. Omon there with nice gank punish, a good flank.
And I hate to say it again, but Cranny's got 3 kills. So
yeah.
Good spell shield as Tangle Barbs go right through him.
The way that Sivir goes in games generally is that, like, Sivir will be incredibly useless for the majority of the game, and then once she hits 2-3 items, she will randomly pentakill.
Yep.
Right, because of the ricochets. So accelerating to that point is super useful. Most of the time, I don't really like this champion, but you can't argue with it. He's 3-1 with a BF sword earlier.
And I mean, Nemesis, like, it's classic again because he's always got a hell of a lot of assists in the early game. It's just, by the way, grubs were taken in 3 by Rylek. And Nemesis has 5 assists out of 5 kills given over to LR.
Yeah.
So once again, this Ari has had so much value as Aragon. I think Baus might be a little bit in trouble here.
Yeah, he might be a bit Dunnies over here. I mean,
he needs a wave.
He has ulti, but that's going to buy a limited amount of time.
If he levels up here, it'll be nice for the mana. He might be able to withstand Baus with an ulti. All you need is the wave to go down, but he won't get an option. He gets sent skyward.
Yeah, there's no counterplay to stacking up Q1, Q2 on Xin Zhao and then Eing on the target, unfortunately being so low. I mean, maybe Baus could have buffered his ulti.
But then the damage from the public execution with the Q that's guaranteed to hit.
I don't know if he had 3 amp tones before this, but it just looked like he died in rage. He died in rage, bought 3 amp tones out of base. No, but
you notice that I used the information you told me, the Ambessa RQ.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, break it down.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as teleport comes in, hang on. Wait. He does have full mana bar, it doesn't matter.
Ooh, he defends the Feet of Warfare, that's big.
Ooh, Nemesis countered his minions meanwhile as his Velia again. Kick available this time though. Tangle Barbs connects though, it's getting sketchy but a charm. Connects onto DOS as Nemesis damage not to be missed. The Golden Eclipse will not shine bright. Omon doesn't have any follow-up damage and LR get away with a kill again as Baus went a bit deep in top lane. Now Rylek is here waiting as the explosive cast, the wind becomes lightning, the range, Shigenda might be able to do it himself. Flash from Rylek though. Matches, here's another teleport by the way, trying to save what's left of top.
Oh, there goes the Feet of Warfare to fight despite the TP. And that's a second death by Baus in the span of a minute and a half. So the Feet of Warfare going to go over. That's boots completed, tier 3 boots if they won them from BKR. That's definitely by no means the game.
This is a good game though.
It is a good one.
12 kills, 10 minutes and... You know, it's nice. BKR are keeping up, and even though Omon got caught a couple of times, like, top is going well. It's Rylek, as I say that. Velia's on top of him. The kick away.
Nice
Tangle
pick.
Barbs, though. Rylek's isolated. You're right. It's nice because all it takes is a sonic wave. Resonating strike from Velia around mid to pick up Yet again, a massive lead.
I've never seen someone kicked through that angle, through that part of the wall before.
It's got to be minute, right? Like,
yeah.
It's such a big wall.
Barely just able to squeeze over there, but it's a really nice kick again from Velia. And through these mid-lane skirmishes, they managed to find a bunch of leads. I mean, let's just take a look at it again. Wow, I've really never seen it. I played this game for like 15 years, and it's... like, look at that.
That is like, because if it's any deeper, it just goes into the wall, right?
Yeah, and you just expect the Xin Zhao to stay in place.
Yeah.
But it's a super nice kick. Velia, the GOAT.
Well, Velia, this series, like, I've been complimenting Rylak and saying what he does for BKR is probably the strongest member, but Velia has definitely been the better jungler, I think. And he's online yet again. Do you agree with that statement?
I think it's hard to rate junglers. I think it's easy to look bad on a losing team.
Now, because you're playing jungler, it's hard to rate junglers all of a sudden. He said that about top laner once upon a time. What would you say about this one? Because Balth is dead. Full rotation.
I think Shigenda's finally online in this series.
Okay, but what can he do with it?
Yeah, the Eclipse completion, it's a little bit rough. Merc Tread's so pivotal in the matchup. You can't really kite away from the Ambessa at this point. You get run down, and it's a nice play. Shigenda has all the gold.
And he also has TP. So Dragon right now started for LR. Seems like it'd be a disaster in waiting as BKR moving also with Flash Pop Blossom, the most important spell in the game, up and available.
Yeah, big teamfight potential right here. But again, and that's a side lane threat. Who matches it? I suppose you do have the Ahri Lee Sin to pin down and just one-shot the Ambessa, if possible. But again, Lost Return is starting this up. I wonder if Surrender will also look for a TP to join the team fight. It looks like BKR do have that intention.
On a ward as well, so they know exactly where the health bar is. Zoned out by Nemesis on the right flank, but it's already gone. On the hunt, popped by Crownie. His teleport will be burned. Shigenda came in late.
Yeah.
They got his TP for nothing.
It was about 1,000 health as he started channeling the TP. The Dragon goes down. They calm Mantra E for move speed as well as Seville to get away. They secure a neutral. And this is big, right? Because this guarantees more time for their scaling.
Omon, no mana. All it takes is a charm. He's going to wait. He wants that rebuttal. He wants the bounce. He'll find it.
Wow.
Sonic Wave kited away from as well as the Solar Snare doesn't get its due. Velia wants another Sonic Wave. He won't connect with the low health turret, but he will hover around.
This Melpick is really breaking up the duo of Lee Sin Ahri. However,
I mean, it might not matter. Root up
Wait,
those Solar Snare, and there you go. Finally, an Eclipse worth watching.
So the way this duo works is you land the charm, and off of that charm on the CC target, you can land the full combo on Lee Sin, because the skill shot is hard to land in the first place. But the charm is really breaking down. Sorry, the reflect onto the charm is.
That's right, like in trouble. Explosive cast gets him in the burst. The bounce is good as well. Reckless wants the root, and he'll find it. Bounce getting low, though. Rylak still not to be toiled with, but eventually with 3 people, it won't matter about his damage. A kill goes over, and again, the mess continues.
Yeah, nice play in the mid lane. Rylak does fall, and I feel like the way that Lost Returners are addressing this Xin Zhao is just get inside the ultimate. What's the name of it again? Hit me up with it. Crescent Guard.
It's a Crescent Guard.
But take a look at this with this duo. The charm gets reflected, so the setup for the Lee Sin, the setup for the Lee Sin Q isn't here. And then, because of that, actually managed to survive the initial dive, which then comes out with a follow-up dive, and managing to survive versus this. I mean, I expected him to die here.
Oh,
what a nice play. Snare into buffer flash away.
That's your GOAT.
That is. I've tried to hype him up, but it's like occasionally you see this, but occasionally you see inting. So it's nice to see the other side of the coin.
It is. It really is. A 2-2, and he's got a real chance this game.
Yeah.
And I think as well, the fact that they're getting gold onto some of these scaling elements, some of these really pivotal elements. Solar Laners that we talked about coming into the series that we're like, you know, it's so important. Nemesis Omon, the winner of that, and Baus and Shigenda.
Yeah.
This game, they got a real big chance, especially with a 2K gold top lead.
I'm really worried about how Lost Returners deal with the dive of BKR, because a lot of the dive from something like an Ambessa, something like a Nico, is really unpeelable.
True.
You have peel tools like Lee Sin Kick.
Doing it again. Charm, the timing, great, but Omon, he can't stop the kick. Velia comes in, another one, and this finally opens up that turret.
It's the side lane plays over and over again. I think BKR, they have to shadow this Mel a little bit more, because Mel is suffering versus the playmaking that they have with the CC.
You were literally just asking me, how do they stop sides, right? Like, I mean, for the side of BKR, talking about this Ambessa, they're hitting the other side of the map. That's their option.
Yeah. And playing with the Lee Sin Ahri duo, specifically in side lane, it really exploits the immobility of Omon.
On the hunt, Crownie gets a turret, and Rylak can't do anything.
I've never seen so many severe ults just used for running away.
Yeah.
You know?
But you said the champion's usual still 2-3 items,
it is,
and I think Crownie knows too.
Yeah, they're navigating it well, getting through the early game. Crownie already has a bounty and is scaling, so it's super nice. But again, like I was saying, I'm really worried about how they deal with the dive. Because they don't... The peel tools are good. They have Lee Sin Kick, they have Gragas CC, but navigating this dive, it can be really, really tricky.
Of course he did Proto Belt again.
Of course. He loves this item, by the way.
I mean, again, I came back to what I said last game, is Food's also accompanied with it, which is nice to see the thematics. Is that it does feel like now with the buff that Proto Belt is just generally a good item again. You know, with an active, it's like 120% gold value, I think.
An underrated aspect of Proto Belt being buffed as well is they changed the build path to way more amp terms, and like before it was like Kindle Gem, but now it's Alternator plus Fiendish plus another amp term. It's super nice to build. You saw earlier that like he built 3 amp terms and a Fiendish on Gragas or something. Or was that?
So you get somewhere. Nemesis just walked into Shigenda. Really nice. Nemesis is going to ulti away, and yes, he is away, if only just. Yeah,
Shigenda camping that bush and then ulting, and then trying to make plays towards side there. And Nemesis has no ulti, but he does have the Malignance. Shouldn't be too bad. He still has the flash, so the team fighting will be there as well. Dragon spawning in 40 seconds.
But it is good. I mean, you know, you get Nemesis ulti out right before Dragon. Shigenda's going to be able to get back and TP in or walk in. Like, as you said, Dragon's a big timer here. But Lost RATONES once again having the early stack.
I think the problem is also that they use Shigenda's ability to dive in a team fight on top lane here to try and make a play, and it didn't really work out too well. So now they've lost a dive tool in these team fights.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So going towards this 5v5 down in bot side could be problematic. Crownie has mid lane push. Should convert into a bunch of vision control around river already. Line push control for Lost RATONES as well.
Bushy going to wait for the wave. He doesn't really have an item to speak of following that static shiv. The Guinsoo's is trailing a little bit behind. I could say that about Crownie, but Crownie has a BF Sword pickaxe. Even without the IE, he's level 11 too. And thinking about the damage here. Third Dragon spawns, and Herald pushed mid to try and get a reaction out of LR.
Yeah, Herald push mid, they have to answer it. You can't cross map into it. The charge isn't going to kill the tab. We're going to do a significant chunk. And crucially...
On the hunt. Oh, Baus is found a flank. You got an explosive cast onto DOS, but it's a one-man Pop Blossom. Only onto Baus. Is it worth it? He flashes away while Oman is dealing with the deadly duo. Velia gets it again. Sonic Wave is going to be found, and he'll fly. The Lee Sin may be blind, but he ain't dumb. LR pick it apart. Shigenda, the strongest member left standing. And BKR have got their heads in their hands with how this series is going.
Velia absolutely flies. Baus tanks up the world. It's such a nice team fight. He doesn't die despite BKR putting their entire combination on him. And that's another team fight win. That's Dragon. That's Soul Point again for Lost RATONES.
Maybe in Paris, but I don't think anyone will be telling us what's going on after this.
I mean, Baus, he's so tanky at this point. Sleeper, right? They try to full combo him. They ulti. Bushi ults onto him as well, but they can't burst through the Gragas resist as well as the Karma shields. And then watch Velia fly here. He lands the kick, W over the wall, lands the kick, and just takes it, sends it full, and they run over the entire enemy team with the resets as well.
Clean stuff. LR steps away from returning to the grand final. You know, the back-to-back has been talked about. They finally lost a best of series in the NLC. It was also mentioned. The series against Nord. It was bit of a surprise for me. Then they took it back, right back to the finals. They won NLC. And now they're here again, almost losing out in quarterfinals. Right back again.
And I think the arc is like, it's been incredibly interesting. Because you see people saying, wow, they're really struggling. You know, I've seen comments on Reddit saying they need a new coach, Cadrill's drafts, and so many issues. But they look amazing.
Yeah.
Right? This is the LFL Seed 1.
And even Baus on weak side, right? Like his team fights, his pickoffs, he might be 0-4 and down 1,600 gold, but it's his angles that he found on Oman before.
That team fight was great, right?
Yep. So and the fight, that fight we just saw too. Good point.
But I think a big problem BKR have is just getting Shigenda to connect in these fights.
Yep.
Feels like when you play a Kaiser comp, you really want to find a big engage with the Nico or some kind of dive and fly the Kaiser in afterwards to pick off a target, but they're just not finding it with Shigenda.
And it's also on the point of Shigenda, and for people at home, and not really like to drill into him, it's obviously talking about a flaw here where he's had gold in quite a few games, or he's had like moments where he's been even being able to, but like the Camille game was a great example.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to connect, he wasn't able to convert. And that's the difference, I think, when Baus doesn't take any gold, but his impact in fights is so big as we might see one now because Atakan's going to be started up by Ella down in bot.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have that much DPS. They have Severe with 2 items, I suppose, but it's not going to be that much. Still burning down half HP. They want to contest BKR. Shigenda is TPing. The question is it too late? Are they going to Severe all the way again?
Well, they might, or they might just look for the turn themselves. Charm just out of range onto Rylak, but look, Bounce comes in for the flank after Atakan's down. He gets picked off by Shigenda, but they need more than that. Bounce still just taking up, and Omen gets a kill. It's nice after the explosive cast, because Nemesis ult in full swing. There's a Karma Shield too, as DOS, how did he get here? Velia will take the free kill. Omen flashes away. The charm narrowly avoided, but Nemesis might not be done yet with Reckless having a flash, with a Sonic Wave, with a kick against the wall. Velia will take his due. I was wrong though, because Velia's kick is still up and available. He wants a little bit more. He wants to find that flash angle, but LR have got everything they came bot for.
Yeah, turn on the Atakan. I mean, it doesn't look great, right? With Baus coming in and then getting pinned down immediately. But the overall fight is good because they find, I believe DOS was trying to be a minion on the backside. I didn't quite catch it, so let's take a look. They pin down Baus, and Bessel is used onto the Gragas, and they find the pick. But that's a lot of tools. Nemesis, I thought, actually was a bit screwed in this fight because he had to ult away from his own charm that got reflected by Omen, but they find the pick onto DOS, who I think was a minion in the back end there, trying to find an engage. But again, the problem was all tools used onto Baus, nothing left afterwards.
I thought he kicked him, but he was just waiting for another angle. It's clinical. It's messy, but it's becoming clinical because of how these fights are starting to go. And now with Crypt Bloom picked up as well. I'm looking at a second item soon for Baus. I'm looking for third here with the Runans or Phantom Dancer for Crownie. That time has definitely come a lot earlier than a lot of other games we've seen with this Sivir.
Yeah.
And now you have to think on the other side of the bracket, like, how do you stop this team? What do we do up against LR, who once again look like they're on a steamroller?
I mean, Shigenda's trying to attack Baus, right? That's his angle. But the slipperiness, despite even missing the body slam onto thin air, isn't enough to run him down. I mean, he just doesn't have the gas to burst him. I mean, he's even going Last Whisper and Cyrilda's potentially just to try and burst someone at any point in this fight, but it really isn't connecting. Sol spawning in 50 seconds, and that's going to be a big turning point. Now, Kai'Sa, I feel like, is also not online. Static Shift Guinsoo's, no 3 items as well.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's really, really tough.
It was a good early game, but yeah, there's no conversion again. We still have a 2k gold lead of Shigenda. And that Ambassador ult needs to find everything.
Look at just simply the item gap in jungle.
Yeah, I'm looking.
It's ton on the Titanic Coalfields versus
2 items.
almost 3.
It's like a full item ahead.
Yeah, it really almost is 3 items, 1.5 to 3, which is a phenomenal gap for jungle. LR gonna get mid lane push and then be able to face check here. The problem is in their composition, they don't really have anyone to do that.
Well, they're doing it anyway. It's onto Nemesis, but he ulties away. Charmed out as Rylak, and even though the Crescent Guard's out, a flash must be burned. Crownie will match it, though.
Sends it.
He has no fear, and he will get punished for it. DOS, Pop Blossom is great, but is it going to be enough? Shigenda finally got access to the backline, but his whole team sits dead. A triple deserved to Nemesis, and regardless of Crownie sending it, they're too damn far ahead.
You just know the comms of Crownie there was just go, guys. We win any fight, take any fight. You flashes in, get instant combo, but it doesn't matter. You had Nemesis flashing on the backline, one-shotting Omen. You had Baus doing a bomber combo with the cask into the other cask. It was a great team fight to clean up.
An 8k gold lead now. It's a Sol again. This one's for the books. And I don't know what you said at the start of the day in our content fees. I ended up saying 3-0-3-1. Oh, did you say BKR?
No, you know, we don't need to talk about it.
Did you? You said BKR.
I did not say a word,
You
actually.
foolish man. You silly Englishman.
I mean, Crownie, he just sends it, right? He has shields. He thinks he's good. Threats are largely gone, but it's Shigenda.
Look at him.
I think the spell shield gets burned by Omon's spells, and then the Ambessel goes through. The Nico ult doesn't matter. Nico's way too underfed, and in the back end, you have Nemesis. Watch this cask. Bomba. Cask into a Q from Gragas. Super nice.
Yeah, it's nice, yeah. Sorry, your like love of these little micro.
I love micro. So cool.
Micro is some of the best part of League. I agree. Baus, is he called out? Teleport. Might answer your question. A barrel roll, though, he does serious damage. Dallas is just going to lose his Celestial Blessing. Almost dead. Yes, he is. Pop Blossom, and Baus runs past him to take the next victim. Shigenda's gold lead, meaning absolutely nothing as LR roll through the LFL. France turns silent, and Britain roars to life in yet another EMEA Masters. It's a dive turned ace again. The Rats continue to run.
A collapse on the top side with Baus just dribbling on them. The E-flash onto 2 as well afterwards. I mean, it's such a nice ending. Such a stomp, honestly, the last 2 games. First game was quite contested, but I feel like Lost Returners have made a statement here.
It's not going to end here, though. It's 15 seconds. Unless they continue on, DOS is going to try and slow it down. The reason I say that is this because they are. You reckon they keep going? 10 seconds? You know, correct me. I'm happy to be wrong. I think a lot of people were. They look shaky in the lead-up, but you come into a semi-finals, and as the Rats, you don't miss. 3-0, the LFL's first seed contested. No, not even a scratch. The Nexus is bare, and the Rats return to defend their grand finals.